Good afternoon, everyone, and Gong Xi Fa Cai. Thank you for everyone to taking time to join this presentation. It is about delivering powerful GPU virtual desktop for 3D production and renderings. My name is Texan Yip. I'm the principal consultant of Robust HPC. Right, today agenda it will be what's shown on the screen here. Right, I'm going to first quickly introduce of who is Robust HPC, and then I'll move on to talk about the challenges of working remotely, and then what are the advantages to virtual workstation deliver to the end user. And then we'll quickly walk through supported software on the virtual platform and move on with two success story, and then we'll begin our live demo. After the live demo, it will be a Q&A, but don't worry, if you have any question in the midst of the presentation, do let me know and do stop me, and let's make it a casual discussion, you see, right? So that we can have more interaction. All right, so without further ado, I'll move into talking about Robust HPC. So we have a motto of do more with less. But what does that mean for our customer? We want to empower our customer to do more with less effort. So in other words, we are helping our customer to improving their work efficiency anytime, anywhere. Yeah. Right. So about Robust HPC, our company founded in 2010, and we're now an NVIDIA certified solution provider. So of all these years, we deliver on-premise and cloud server solution in Southeast Asia and to China. Yeah. We are also the reseller of various architecture, engineering, and construction software such as Autodesk, BricsCAD, V-Ray, SketchUp, and many more. Yeah. So we're also a training provider of 3D Max. For V-Ray, we are certified training center in Malaysia, and then we also provide Adobe Photoshop courses. So our biggest aim in the business is to provide business process optimization for our customer. So if we talk about 3D, customer who use 3D, we have three key solutions that help our customer. First is the high performance workstation. The next one is the high performance storage. And then the last one is a cloud technology. Right, talking about the high performance workstation, we are the first company, probably the first company in Malaysia that focusing on overclocking the system back in 2010. Yeah, so we used to build a workstation with liquid coolings, multiple GPU, and highly overclocked and stable workstation for architecture firm, architecture visualization company, and animation studio, right? And talking about our high performance storage, it is definitely unique and having a lot more advantage when compared to other storage like Synology, right? So by using our storage system, a 2 GB 3D Max scene file or any kind of working file that you have can be transferred in less than 5 seconds through the network. Yeah, so this is pretty fast, you see. And then in order to help our customer to improve their work efficiency and to finish off their work quickly, we also provide a massive cloud for 3D and renderings. We have over 15,000 of render nodes with powered by dual Intel Xeon. And then we also have solution for remote CAD viewing, whereby for architect, you can host all your CAD drawing on our cloud, and then your customer can actually view it through the web browser without AutoCAD installation on their PC. Besides that, we also provide managed cloud storage and file sharing. We provide managed virtual workstation for our customer as well. Right. So the next I'm going to talk about the challenging of working remotely. Since the pandemic, everyone has started to shift to working remotely, working from home, right? But a lot of management also realize that there comes a new challenge, right? Like the first and foremost is the security and data leak challenges. Yeah, it is not easy, right, to prevent the data being leaked out by the employee or the teammates, right? This poses a potential risk to the customer. when your cat data is leaked out to unauthorized access, it will create a lot of trouble, right? And then the second biggest challenge that faced by many people is a hardware downtime that resulting in productivity losses. Yeah, so can you imagine that you're working on a workstation that currently sitting inside your office and you're accessing it from your home? What if there's something go wrong during the renderings? Like sometimes when you render a very heavy 3D scene, the memory bursts, and then the PC crash and it cannot respond anymore. So the only option is to go and press a reset button or recycle the power in order to bring it up again. So, but when you work from home, this is very hard because the PC is located in the office. So a lot of people start to realize that they need to travel back to their office and then, simply to just press the power button again to restart the PC. All right. By using the virtual desktop solution, it would not be an issue anymore. Yeah. And then the next challenge is the management complexity of the physical workstation, right? If you allow everyone to bring back a physical workstation or laptop to their home, meaning that you are actually creating a decentralized IT support. So how are you going to support when the device has some problem? Let's say hard disk failure, or let's say the laptop cannot boot into Windows, then you have to deploy your IT support personnel to go to their home to collect the PC, or they have to send back the PC or laptop to the office in order to get it fixed. So this has furthermore increased the complexity, and the efficiency of working remotely. And to certain organization that's bigger in size, they also have a lot of process to do in order to check out and check in the devices. And for the architect or 3D artists themselves, managing an inconsistent desktop experience, it's a trouble. So what do I mean by inconsistent desktop experience? For example, you're using a high-end workstation in your office, and then you're bringing back a mobile workstation to your home. Basically, it's a laptop, right? So you have to install 3D Max twice. And if in the event that, when you need to upgrade to the 3D Max, for example, from 2019 version to 2021 version, then you have to do it twice, You have to do it at a workstation at the office, and also you also have to reinstall at the laptop, and you have to synchronize your user profile, your shortcut keys, your user interface between the devices. So this has somehow increased the complexity of managing your own desktop. To further complicate the issue, you're also having problem, migrating or duplicating the data from your workstation to the laptop. Yeah. So by all this means, it also costs a higher cost, to the company and to the management. Yeah. Because in order for the team to work, you have to buy 2 devices or sometimes even more, right? Like for example, one in the office, one for them to move on the go, like a laptop, and then probably another high-end PC at their home so that they can do the work more efficiently. So in a way, this is very bad for the finance. Yeah. So what advantages do workstation deliver and why it can solve the problem? So the first one, it's of course Windows 11 migration. To migrate from Windows 10 to Windows 11, which is new Windows, it's going to be very time consuming for physical devices. But if we go for virtual workstation, this can be very simple, right? We can also do desktop modernization. I'm not going to go in depth for all this, so I'm going to just give a brief idea about it because the focus today is to give you a live demo, right? Okay, so the VDI, virtual workstation, right? It also enhance security, empower remote workforce, and then it also make thin client readiness. Okay, you don't have to buy a lot of high-end devices. You can just work with this thin clients at anywhere. Right? There are more and more advantages when using a virtual desktop. So a quick look here, you can migrate desktop or apps from a single using a single platform. Sorry, you're able to use the desktop and apps from a single platform. Okay, then you can do a lot more here for IT management. So I'm going to skip this one for now. Yeah, but just okay. I'm not going to skip. Yeah, just a quick one. This is just in time management technology. That means you can instantly clone the workstation, right? Instantly create a workstation for a new employee, a new staff, right? It also offers a great user experience. It gives you a smart policy like if you have a concern about the security, you can block the access, for the 3D artist to copy the data from the server into their home PC. So this make it a very secure working environment. Then for the IT, they are able to uh, manage the complete environment efficiently and also integrate with the data center and allow flexible delivery. Yep. So these are all the supported software on the VDI platform, the virtual desktop platform, right? So you can see most of the 3D software and photo editing software are actually available on the platform. Yeah. So let's quickly talk about two success story. Okay. This is an award-winning architecture firm called Black Flatos in Texas. They're using the VWS virtual workstation solution that's similar to what I'm going to demo next, which is powered by NVIDIA A40. So you can see that based on their experience, they realized that the virtual workstation has nearly the same overall performance compared to their dedicated workstation grade desktop. But it only uses a fraction of power. So a lot of people overlook about the power saving, right? With the electricity going more and more expensive nowadays, right? Moving to a virtual workstation is very important, and it actually deliver a great cost saving in the long run. Yeah. So and then we take a look at the Studio 4D, right, in Uruguay. Yeah. So they actually use NVIDIA RTX and DLSS technology, right, to help them to achieve real-time ray tracing through remotely. Yeah. So, okay. So next one, I'm not going to talk a lot about the presentation now. We'll move on to see the live demo. The first one, I'm demo a CPU only virtual desktop and see how the performance actually works. And then we'll move on to our main target today, which is GPU power virtual desktop. And then the last one, I'm going to show you something very interesting. So I hope you stay until the last minute, right? It is a virtual web that launches directly from your desktop without going through virtual desktop. Yeah. All right. So now let's move on to the live demo. If you have any question, so do not hesitate, to ask me. Yeah. All right. I think most of the people working from home during the pandemic lockdown, it's probably through TeamViewer or Anydesk, right? Yeah. So this is remote desktop, right? Virtual desktop accessed by Anydesk, right? Let's take a look at the spec now. All right, the spec is very identical to the one that I'm going to demo next, which is the virtual workstation powered by NVIDIA GPU. So we are having 16 CPU virtual processor, 32 gigs of RAM, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's play a 1080p video, right? You can see when I launch a video, it's lagging. I'm not sure whether you face the same problem. If you do, you know the pain, right? Yeah. So it doesn't mean that you cannot play the video, but it would just lag, and then the sound, I can't even hear the video sound. Yeah. So let's pause it. You see, even when I press a pause, it's still playing because of the lag introduced by the remote access software. Because when you play a video, you keep on updating the screens. Every pixels need to refresh, so it actually drains quite a lot of resources as well. Yeah. Okay. And the next one I'm going to show you, a lot of people doesn't realize, when you work through TeamViewer or Anydesk or any equivalent, there could be a problem with the color presentation, right? Okay, if I open the first one, the architecture pictures, you wouldn't realize anything. It looks normal, right? Very normal. Yeah. Okay, but if you have a very sharp eye, you can start to see some color palettes actually forming at the top part here. You can see that? Okay, I'm going to give you a next picture that will show you a more obvious result. Yeah, let's take a look at this one. Oh, okay. Yeah, from my side here, I can see a bit of palettes here already, right? But you probably don't see it. Never mind, we zoom it. Okay. You see, it's a bit laggy. Okay, a bit hard for me to zoom in also. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. It looks okay. A bit of noise, but it's okay. Yeah. So I can see a bit of palettes forming already. All right, but I'm not sure whether you can see it through the Microsoft Team remote session, but doesn't matter. Let's move on to the next one. Aha! See that? Right, there's a lot of color palettes lines here are actually forming. Even this gradient are not very smooth. Yeah. Okay, from the yellow to the green to the purple, you can see that there are a lot of line in between. Right. Okay. So we're going to check out the same image again in the virtual workstation powered by NVIDIA GPU layer. Then you can see the difference, right? Okay, and then the last one I want to show you when you work with a CPU only workstation, right? When I say CPU only workstation, doesn't mean that this does not have a GPU card, right? It does have a GPU display adapter, but it's just not as powerful as the NVIDIA vGPU software can deliver, right? So if I'm trying to open an interactive 3D that created in Unity 3D, let's see what it happens. Right, it takes a bit of time to load, and we can see that the color palettes are actually forming here also, right? If you take a look at my setting here, I already have the best audio and video quality. I even turn on the preserve details. Turning it on and off doesn't really create much different, right? Okay, so I'm going into the launching the interactive application. Aha, but you can see now it crashed, right? I can't open it at all because it doesn't have enough GPU power to run it, right? So we close this one, and now let's move on to our VDI, which powered by this horizon view, right? Okay, I'm going to log in. All right. Okay, here, let me open up the same video and play through this virtual workstation. All right. I can't move this one anyway. Yeah, but doesn't matter. Let's show you this one. All right. This is the bar that actually for you to configure setting here. We're using a full screen right now. Okay, let's play the video. I think let's just configure this. Yeah. Right. Okay. So you can see the video play quite smoothly, right? And the frame per second is pretty well done, right? Yeah. I'm playing full screen compared to the Anydesk that you saw just now. It's very, very different in terms of performance. Yeah. So even if I hit the pause, it pauses immediately, without any delay, right? Then let's take a look at the pictures again. I'm using the same image class to display, right? Okay, if you try to see here, there's no more color palettes, right? If I move on to the second one, wow, it's very good, right? Okay, here, if you have a sharp eye, you of course would notice there's a line here, but it's much, much better when compared to the Anydesk, right? So you can see from the yellow to the green having a smooth transition, smooth gradient. Here the spot is the color spot here is a little bit high dynamic range, so there's still some problem, but this can be fixed when we adjust some of the settings, right? But this is using the default one. You can see that it's pretty good in overall, right? Okay, so yep. Okay, the next one, we are going to show you the workload on 3D Max, right? I have already pre-opened 3D Max here. So we have a participant, okay, Mr. Alif, that say, he wish to open multiple application when he's working on the Unreal Engine, right? Yes, it's doable here. You can see that I already have Photoshop turned on, CAD, right? 3D Max, and the last thing we'll do is to keep the 3D Max open, and then we'll run the Unreal Engine, right? First of all, let's take a look at the viewport performance in 3D Max, right? Oh, I forgot to show the spec here, right? Okay, the performance here, right? It's identical to it's even much lesser than what we have in the CPU only virtual desktop. It's only using 8 GPU. Okay, but you can see that the performance is much better, especially when we open up the interactive app later, right? Okay, and of course we have a NVIDIA A40 GPU, with 16 gigs of GPU memory, right? It's kind of powerful, right? So let's try it. You see, okay, I can smooth around, and if I go to the perspective wheel, yeah, this is quite a heavy scene. You can see that, right? We have 3 buildings here, right? And sorry, 4 buildings. Yeah, 3 high-rise building and 1 clubhouse. Okay, so even if I turn on, the wireframe, oops, I need to select an object to focus first. Yeah. Oops, I hope that it's not hitting the, auto save. Right. Okay. Yeah. So you can see even with the wireframe turned on, the viewport are still quite smooth. We are still able to achieve, you see, 15 FPS. But if I using this one on my laptop, this is going to be a very painful experience then. Yep. Oh, well, okay. Right, I'm trying to increase the speed, Yeah, okay. Yes, right. Okay, we can try to do a rendering as well. So if you're using a V-Ray, right, V-Ray here, where you can start the IPR, which is an interactive render, or we can start with the CPU render. I'm going to turn to V-Ray GPU for the render, using production render here, right? Let's try maybe 1002 pixel, all right? Okay. I'm actually activating the render, all right? Then while waiting for the render to kickstart, let's work on our I'm going to switch to Photoshop, but before that I want to explain about using the GPU for the render will cause the entire desktop a little bit slower because we only assign 1 GPU card right now. So when the GPU running 100%, then of course you will experience a little bit of slowdown. But this also happen on a physical workstation for sure, right? So in order to solve this one, people will normally install 2 GPU cards. Yeah, so that's what we can do, right? Okay. Well, so you see, anyhow, the render is running on the background, but you can see once the Windows get recover from assigning the GPU, then it become quite smooth also. Let's try and move around in Photoshop. See, wow, it's pretty smooth, isn't it? Right, I have actually a lot of layer here, right? A lot of layer, right? I can turn off the effects, right? And turn off the color corrections, right? I can start painting on it. Oops. Create a new layer here, right? Yeah, you can see. Okay, some of you may have noticed that, when you work through TeamViewer or Anydesk, when you try to draw a smooth line, it will become jagged like this. Sometimes you form a very sharp angle when you start to drag around, using your cursor. But the virtual workstation that we provide, it can give a very, very smooth experience when drawing a line. Yeah, even like, you know, laying a gradient layer with the rendering running at the background, remember, right? Okay, so you can see that the virtual workstation is very powerful, very, very powerful, just like you are working on a virtual physical workstation. All right, let me turn off this one. I'll do a copy merge, right? I'm using a shortcut key anyway. Yep, sorry, copy merge, right? Then I'll do or we'll just do adjustment, right? A curve adjustment, right? Do remember we are still doing rendering at the background. Okay, maybe we can switch back and take a look at that, right? Okay, it's still rendering, doesn't matter. Okay, go back, you know, yeah, we can do it, right? Okay, so I'm going to cancel the render here. Okay, the exposure is not correct, okay, because I didn't, it was set up in CPU, but now we are using a GPU to render, so doesn't matter, right? We can fix it, but in the demo, I'm just going to leave it there, right? Okay, so you can see once the render are being cancelled, the respawn of Photoshop is becoming much better, right? Okay, so if you have any question, do stop me and then let me know, right? Then I can actually attend to your questions. Okay, because now, yep, I'm going to cancel this one. You have seen, you know, how it works for Photoshop. And before I leave Photoshop, you know, I'm just going to show you the size of this image. It is 4,000 pixels, right? It's quite a big image, right? 4K image. Yeah, so yeah, it's very powerful virtual workstation. And now with all this software leaving open, I'm going to show you, you know, navigating on a CAD drawing, right? I'm using a BriskCAD. Okay, we are the reseller of BriskCAD anyway. Yeah. So, okay, this is a quite a complicated, you know, CAD drawing. It is showing the earthwork of one of the projects that we have with our customer, right? Okay, but you can see that, okay, you can navigate quite smoothly in the CAD as well, right? I'm trying to add a new line here, right? Okay, yeah, right. Okay, yeah. So, of course, if you are very uh, proficient with the handling the CAD, of course, you know how to reduce the complexity of the CAD drawing, probably like hiding some layers or freezing some layers. Yeah, that would definitely works for, you know, to improve the performance of it. Okay, so after we've seen the 3D Max, Photoshop, and CAD, I'm going to show you the interactive apps that I mentioned just now. Remember, do you still remember in the CPU-only virtual workstation, we are not able to even run the 3D interactive apps, right? So I'm going to fire up the apps here, right? Let's see how it performs. All right, yeah, you can see it's still loading. Okay, but if you do notice, it's more responsive. You know, if you take a look here, the color palette is no longer appear here. All right, and we go into the mouse mode. Right. Oh, hi, Alif. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to show you the Unreal Engine later. Yeah. Okay, so this one. Okay. I'm going to enable a function for because I have to enable the mouse control. Yeah. Okay. So this is actually down the sound a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, this is actually done with Unity 3D, right? It's interactive and you can actually position sunlight, you know, uh, according to the time, right? And you know, if we are running this on a laptop, it's definitely impossible. It requires at least RTX 2060 card, GPU card to actually run it, right? Yeah. So, okay, so if we turn to balcony view, yep, so it actually works quite well. All right, I'm just going to exit software, and now we'll move on to the Unreal Engine, right? Okay, yeah, I think this is what Mr. Alif are very interested to take a look at, right? Okay, for that, let me disable this, right? So, okay, I'm opening my Unreal Editor, right? I'm going to load a few scenes, and probably if possible, we will open a few instances of Unreal Engine together to see how it performs. Right. Okay. The first one, I have prepared a architecture interior and also a VFX production test. This is probably the most complicated one. I'm going to open this one, and at the same time, I'll fire up another Unreal Engine in Unreal Editor, right? So do remember what we have at the background. The 3 megs are still running at the background, right? With Photoshop loading a 4,000 pixel, you know, image, right? So for this one, I'm going to open a shooter game, right? So I'm basically loading, to Unreal Editor, yeah. And to remember, we are having only 8-core CPU in these virtual machines, right? Of course, the RAM is a bit high because I want to run multiple instance. I'm using a 64 gigs here, right? Okay, yeah. So you can see, yep, it's actually quite smooth here. See that? Yeah. So this is one, and let's wait for the second one to load. All right. Okay. Ooh, where am I now? All right. Yeah. See. Okay. It's pretty smooth. Let's try to push its limit to the third editor, right? See whether we can do that. Okay, while it's loading, let's try to click the play. Oh, right, we are playing one of it, right? Okay, and then let me switch to the other one. I'm going to play this for this. Uh, when I download this, I'm kind of impressive, because the environment is quite huge. I mean, although the building are, are quite identical to each other. I guess they're just duplicating over to the entire city. But we can see some moving vehicle around, and then we also have a kind of complete interior scene, right? Let's try to click on the play. Whoa, it's a shooter game, right? Okay, right, and then let's see. We can switch to our third one, right? Okay, here. Yep. Okay, I'm going to open the ArtViz interior scene. Ta-da. Okay, it's loading. So remember, we have two Unreal Editor running in the play mode, one 3D Max scene with 4 buildings and one clubhouse, and then we also have a 4K pixel Photoshop, okay, running at the background. We also have a very complicated earthwork CAD drawing running as well. Okay, and okay, it's compiling shader. It probably takes a little bit, time. Oh, yes, yes. We have a question here. Do I need to upload all my project files to our server, the virtual workstation server, in order to use the virtual workstation? Yes, the answer is. So what we are doing now is, if the entire team need to run on a virtual workstation environment, we're going to pair it with a cloud storage as well. That means you basically run your entire team, your entire project files on a cloud environment. There's no longer needed, to link it back to your office server anymore. so that everyone will be able to access, using a access in a very high bandwidth, okay, to all the project files. Imagine there are 10 people, in your teams, and then all of them need to work on the same file at different time probably. Yeah, so we will prepare a cloud storage so that they can access it, through the Window Explorer like a shared drive. Yeah, so you don't have to download or the entire project files to and from your desktop or your laptop, because all you need probably is just downloading the final JPEGs, final render image when you need it, or you can even send it out straight away from the virtual workstation. So can you imagine that you don't have to worry about where is the file located right now. In the previous traditional way, if you save your file in desktop, in Office desktop, so when you go back home, you have to retrieve the file from your Office server or the desktop. And if you're working from home, you close the laptop and then the files are still remain in your laptop. Then when you go back to Office, you have to open up your laptop and then copy the file back to the Office desktop or server again. So with using a VDI, you don't need to do that anymore because everything is in the virtual workstation itself. So no matter what devices that you turn on, you just need to connect to the virtual workstation, and then you can access to all your data. Yeah, so that's one of the very convenient features that allow people to work anytime, anywhere. Yeah. Okay. This one. So I hope that it answered the question. So, okay, how about the security and privacy of all your project data? Okay, it's a very good question, right? Let me show you. If I trying to copy something, right? All right. Let me just put up a desktop here, right? And I'm going to exit the full screen. So I want to show you, how about we copy a data into the VDI, right? Okay, my sensitive data, right? Okay, I can create any data in my laptop or workstation, right? And then I can paste it inside, the virtual workstation. See, my sensitive data, it's here. So what about I create another one and call it sensitive data on the cloud, right? I'm going to copy, and paste the data here. Can I do that? No, right? The answer is no. See, whatever that reside inside the virtual workstation, we can have a policy to disable the transfer of the data out from the virtual workstation. Meaning that if you are standing from management point of view, right, this provide you a very secure environment. Even if some company that work with freelancer or internships or any subcontractor that work only for a short period of time, this is a very good solution for them. You can provision what we call creating a virtual workstation for them to access. They will do the work inside the virtual workstation. They can copy whatever resources, whatever 3D asset that they have in their PC into the virtual workstation. But whatever that they have done in the virtual workstation are not being able to copy out. Of course, if we talk about taking a screenshot, yes, of course, nowadays with the mobile phone, we can't prevent or we can't prohibit anyone to take the picture, right? Yeah, but copying the file, I think is more important. This is something that we are trying to prohibit. Yeah, and yeah, the answer is yes, it is very secure, right? Okay, right. If you do notice, when I minimize the screen, right, compared to Anydesk or remote desktop, okay, which doesn't scale very well when you resize the window, the VDS virtual workstation solution that we provide can scale very, very, very well. You see, the smart start menu will be repositioned, and the size of the screen will be repositioned as well. And then the color itself is very accurate, right? And if I go with full screen, it will scale up again. Yeah. All right. Okay. I think the third one is opening soon, right? Okay. Let's not wait for that. I'm going to show you something very interesting. Then only we come back and take a look at that after the. Oh, okay. No need. Right. Okay. So now we have already 3 instances of Unreal Engine, open up, right? And then this is a architecture interior, right? Oh, it still moves very quickly, right? So I hope that you find it very powerful. Yeah, right. So okay, right. The next thing I'm going to show you is something really interesting. A lot of people are talking about virtual workstation, meaning that they will have to use Anydesk, TeamViewer, or like what we use here. You have to access to a workstation. But actually, this is not only the way to work remotely. So if Robust HPC provide a solution of what we call a remote application, right? Remote application is very powerful. Okay, let me show you. I'm connecting back to our office network, right? Okay, I'm going to show you how do you run Photoshop from within your PC or your laptop, right? Okay, if you take a look here, the wallpaper that's showing a Lamborghini here, it's my PC, right? I can show a bit on the spec of my PC. I'm using I think kind of powerful CPU as well. Yeah. Okay, 6 core, 12 threads, right? I'm using a RTX 2060, right? Okay. So let me open this up, right? This is what we call remote application that we publish through our server, right? Okay, so you can see that it say, hey, this is a remote app, right? Do you want to allow that? Yes. Okay. Wow, virtually, I'm actually running a Photoshop. See that? Okay. All right. Okay. Let me show you. Right. When I click on this is a Photoshop. It is like it is like a local Photoshop that installed on your PC, right? But it's actually not, right? So how do we see that? Let's go to open. I'm going to the desktop. You can see that I don't see anything here, right? Desktop has nothing, right? Even I create a new file called hello my BWS, right? There's nothing here. You see that? There's nothing here because it is not inside my PC. This Photoshop is actually reside in the server in our office. All right. Okay. Let me show you. Right. I can open a picture here. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have used a shortcut. Anyway, I prepared 2 images here. Right. I can draw something here. See, very smooth. Okay, very smooth. And then I can also do a curve adjustment here, right? And then what if I save the image, right? I'm going to desktop again, and then I'm trying to save JPEG. Hello, my architecture, right? You can see the same security policy actually applied, right? Whatever that you work in the virtual application, that is located in the server inside your office or on our cloud, right? The data are not able to take up from that. So whatever that you save inside here, I cannot access in my local PC. So it's very secure. The data that belong to the server will forever belong to the server. There's no way for you to copy out. So how about try this? You see, I right click and copy this one, and I will right click and paste it here. See that? It's still the same. I'm still copy and paste the my sensitive data here, right? But here I have my hello, my architecture image being copied. So these are 2 separate entities, totally isolated from each other. So this is why we mentioned that it's very secure. Yeah, right. So yeah, Mr. Alif, I hope that I answer your questions. Right. Okay. So there's Salif has a new questions. I'm using a lot of plugin in 3D Max, Revit, and Unreal. Does the workstation support all the plugins available? Yes. Yes. Of course, because the virtual workstation it's like a normal PC. Yeah. All right. So it actually, you can just install anything that you want, right? But we can also limit the things that you can install. For example, if you're managing a teams, right, a teams of 10 people, some of them you do not want them to install any application that is not allowed to install, because the licensing could be an issue, right? So we can actually set a permission, say that, hey, this group of user, let's say 3 of them cannot install any software. Yeah. So that how it works, right? Okay. But if you allow the administrator to have the permission to install, then the answer is yes, you can install anything. Yeah. Okay. We have another question as well. Yeah. So the question is about can we run this virtual workstation 24 hours? What happened if it crash? You know, okay, a very good question as well. So it doesn't matter how long you want to run it, yeah, because as long as the server is still on, it will be running. And if you, in case, in the event that you are running into some troubles and you want to reset the virtual workstation, right? It's very simple. We can actually go to here, and then we can either restart the desktop or we can simply reset the desktop. What does it mean by reset the desktop? When we talk about reset the desktop, it means it's similar to you pressing the reset button on your physical workstation. So this is very useful when the virtual workstation become unresponsive due to memory exploded. Sometimes we use too much memory, causing the entire virtual workstation cannot function anymore. Then we can simply reset the workstation, and then it will go back to the initial stage. So to further explain a little bit on this one, it actually has another advantage. For example, if you are working in a team environment, someone go and install a lot of software, that cause the virtual workstation to have some problem, right? Maybe Windows file system corrupted, or maybe some application cannot open after the new installation. Okay, with with this VDI virtual workstation solution that we have, right, we can always revert back to the point of time that the workstation is still working well, right? So the back end will allow the IT administrator to do a lot of management work. Like we can take a quick, what we call a snapshot, to back up the state of the virtual workstation. For example, just giving an example, right? Before I install the Photoshop, I created a snapshot. All right. Then after that, I go and install the Photoshop. So after I install Photoshop, I realized that, I should not have do that, because we don't have a license for Photoshop for the new guy, right? I want to revert back. So the common one that we do nowadays is to uninstall this Photoshop. But if we leave some file settings in the workstation, well, that might create some licensing issue later on, right? So what we can do with a virtual workstation is that we can revert the entire state of the virtual workstation to the state before installing the Photoshop, so that when you restore it and restart the virtual workstation, it is like you never installed the Photoshop in the virtual workstation, right? So this can become very powerful as well. For example, you are having 10 people now in your team now, and you want to add like 2 more person to join the team. So the traditional way, we have to buy the workstation, we have to set up, the software, install everything, plugins. But with the virtual workstation platform, what we can do is we can go and find the preset that we already have. So we create a new virtual machine from this preset, right? And then we have a ready to use virtual workstation for the new guy. So isn't that very convenient and very useful? It cut down a lot of time as well, that's why a lot of IT person actually like it so much. It actually make their life easier, okay, lessen their works, and then make their work more efficient. Yeah. So, yep. Okay, another question. Let's say if I finish my project in the virtual workstation, can I save back all the updated file to my own local server? Yes, the answer is yes, definitely. Yeah, we actually have a lot of solutions in Robust, right? One of which is If you don't want to just save it manually, we can have a synchronized software similar to what OneDrive can do, synchronize the software back to your Office local server or to any devices that you design for. Yeah. For example, your laptop, your desktop, yeah, any place. Yep. Right. Okay. While waiting for more question, what I can show, I'm going to show you, another one. I also have a GIMP, ready. This one I already set the password, you see. We can actually, with our technology, right, our solution, we can actually, prepare any kind of application. We have not tried Unreal Engine to run it as a remote application, right? We can probably try it if some any of you interested, but we never tried it before lah. Yeah. So let me just show you the GMP. Okay, it's the same as the Photoshop, right? Okay, if I go to the desktop, yeah, you can see I have the hello my architecture here, right? I can open it up and then I can work on GMP. This GIMP also, oops, let me just zoom it. All right. Okay, this GMP is also installed at the same server as the Photoshop, right? Yeah, so I can do a lot of adjustment here. I can paint something. Yeah, I can, okay, select none, paint something. Yeah, save it. Yeah, okay. What is we have a new question here. What is the minimum amount of the cloud storage? Because my minimum one Unreal project costs at least 50 GB of storage space. Yes, Unreal Engine, it's a storage space eater, it actually eat a lot of space. We don't have minimum maximum, we can grow up to petabytes, which is very huge. So as for minimum, usually what we see the trend is somewhere around, people will start from 2 TB, right? 2 TB to 10 to 20 TB is quite normal nowadays, right? Especially for those who work with Unreal Engine. Yeah. And then since we don't have limits, so you don't have to really worry about having limits on how much storage space you can get. Now, of course, when we provision more storage space, it will come with a little bit of cost, definitely, right? We can work it out later. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to the virtual workstation here. For this one, we doesn't provision any additional space, but this is at least 500 GB now, right? If you want to connect to your Autodesk 360 drive, it's also possible. Or we can provision a new network storage as well. Yeah. So, yep. Okay. So another questions. So what if I don't want to? I want to use a cloud storage. Okay. If you want to use a cloud storage, we do provide a cloud storage as well. Yeah. Like for example, we have our cloud storage that's very similar to OneDrive, or Dropbox, or Box, So I cannot show here because I don't have the access right now. But our cloud drive is pretty powerful as well. We can share with an unlimited user, and then we can also share out the link to any external user as well. Yeah. So we probably can do it in a later session. Is anyone interested to know more about that? Yeah. All right. So I think that's almost the end of our presentation here. I hope everyone enjoy it, and then I really hope that you find it useful. Right? Do remember that we are not only providing virtual workstation, we have managed cloud storage and file sharing. Okay, we have a solution that allows you to remotely view your CAD drawing, and in the event that you need massive power to help you to render animation, we have more than 15,000 render nodes on the cloud. We have all the software licensing ready. We support all the majority of the plugins, right? and almost all, I would say almost all the versions of the software as well. Like for architecture, we have 3 Max. For animation, we have Maya. Yeah, so just don't if you have any requirement, just feel free, to contact me, or you can send to our general email address, which is info@robusthpc.com, right? Or you can text us on WhatsApp. All right. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation, and I wish everyone happy holiday, happy Chinese New Year, 恭喜发财, and thank you for attending. I really appreciate to have you, with me during the Saturday. It's a weekend, yeah, but I really appreciate that you spend time with me. Thank you, and I'm going to end the presentation in about 1 minute. Thanks again for joining. All right, thank you everyone. Have a good day and see you. Bye bye.